Now I want to talk to you about that because you done, man, a lot of people you raised them. Your voice has been part of the iconic, cartoon for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that was certainly the one that became long lived. I mean, when you do a voice for 10 years, people do tend to associate you with it. So it's been fun to recognize how many people it has affected. Because,
Yes, indeed.
in those days, commercials had, I mean, commercials, that's another area. But the animation, they had a sense of morality, and like nobody got killed, and there was always a happy ending, and it was different then. And I have people coming up to me at comic conventions, which I do occasionally, with their children, and both generations watched this stuff.
For the viewers who may not recognize you because you were behind the scenes, let them know who you are and what you have done and where are you from.
Well, I was born in Toronto, Canada, and I was raised in Chicago in an entertainment family. And I've done a lot of on screen work. Actually, the bulk of my work is on screen. I just got fortunate enough to be the original voice of Wonder Woman. And it's been an eye opening experience. But I've worked in the commercial field big time. I've done television shows, films, I've done modeling, I've done looping, a lot of voiceover advertising. Um, did I leave anything out?
Yeah, you definitely have an impressive resume. Now, when did you develop this passion for, film and voiceovers and television?
Well, as I said, I grew up in an entertainment family that goes way back. I mean, my uncles, my dad, my mom, my dad, my mother and her brother were in vaudeville. We as children just we didn't think anything. We thought everybody did what we did. So we didn't think much about it, but we did all have the training. I mean, if I wanted to have a baton lesson, my mom made sure I got a baton lesson. And it was when I got into high school and joined the theater department that I caught the flame, we'll say, or I lit the flame, and I knew that I wanted to go on as an actor. Prior to that, I had been a probably dream of being a concert pianist, and studied that for 17 and a half years. Of course, always aware that very few of those ever get anywhere, but needless to say, fell in love with acting, loved doing all the plays, did that in college, went to college for a couple years to get an associate degree, and got out and got to it.
Wow, okay, that's truly inspiring. Now, I wanted to ask you about some of the on-screen shows. Like you made an appearance on I Dream of Jeanie. What was that like? And what year was that? I remember watching like reruns and stuff. So
Let's see, what year was it? Don't, you're teasing me now because those things don't seem to matter in my brain. I think it was, oh, I know exactly when it was because of my children's age. It was probably 1974 or 5. Yeah. And it was a fun shoot. I was with Larry Hagman the whole day. All my scenes were with him, and I think we had one with Barbara. Anyway, um, we were in a boat that came apart, part of the gag, and you get to know each other in a boat all day long. And it turns out that I wound up buying his tent, and it was a tent trailer and his station wagon. And my family, my husband and I, and the kids, I had twins, went camping for several years in that vehicle, in that camper.
Okay, okay. I appreciate you sharing that. Now you was in Dragnet as well.
I did several dragnets, maybe four of them. Yeah, lovely
Now this
man,
was
quiet.
earlier.
Um, Not necessarily. You don't do that date thing with me. I'm trying to. Well, it was over time because obviously you don't do them in a row. I wasn't a member of the show, so I would have to say 70s, 80s in there. Yeah, and I was
Okay.
about to say that he was a lovely man. The whole cast were very, very generous people. That whole show was done with using teleprompters. You know what a teleprompter is? For those who don't, it's a screen that has your lines on it. And you basically worked to the teleprompter instead of with the other actors. And I asked, oh, come on, who was the lead in? I asked if I could work if off to have the actor off screen for one of the shots, and they were very generous about it, and we did it that way.
Oh, okay, okay. Now what about the Wonder Woman role? How did you end up getting that role?
Talk about an unexpected thing. First of all, to that point, I had never done an animation, never. I had done voiceovers, but I worked on screen in a Flintstone vitamin commercial with the director, Wally Burr, who happened to further down the line become the director of Super Friends. And I got a call from my agents saying they'd like to see you over at Hanna-Barbera to audition for the role of Wonder Woman. Well, I started to laugh. I said, "Oh, yeah, sure." I said, "For real?" Sure, it was for real. So I went in, and of course, Wally was there, and we worked together. We enjoyed working together on the live action commercial. And we worked together because nobody created this person for Wonder Woman. Oh, by the way, just a little aside, Wonder Woman, the cartoon, the comic book, and I were born in the same year. Just saying.
Wow, that's amazing.
Anyway, we worked on the role and decided where to go with her, how strong to make her. Um, and at one point, he was very funny. He said, "Now, let's do that again. We're just creating in the studio for the audition. Let's do that again, but this time, take off your shirtwaist dress and put on your boots." So we got just the right feeling going for this young superhero person.
Wow, okay. Now you also you did Lois Lane and Hawk Girl as well?
Uh, was it Hawk Girl or Rena? I think it was Rena. Anyway,
Oh, okay.
I did so many because they pay you for three voices, the main voice and extras. So every week you were getting something else to do, which was great. It was what an amazing ground to hone your craft, things you'd never have an opportunity of doing in any other field. And the people that I worked with, just, I can't say enough about their talent. So it was a terrific experience for me.
Wow, okay. Now the voice of Wonder Woman, was that like your natural voice or did you have to try to, how some people create voices?
Well, I beefed her up. I beefed her up. It was coming from the bottom of my feet, this voice, but it was my voice. I mean, I didn't try to make it a different voice. We could do that with other characters, but it just sort of came automatic. I am an independent, strong woman. She was an independent, strong woman believing in truth and justice and equality for all. I am that person. it was mine to do. It was my role to make, and I'm very proud of it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What are your thoughts on Wonder Woman today? In 2024. Like you say, y'all started at the same time, and you watched her grow. So
I did. Some of the things they've done, I'm not fond of. A lot of the wonderful artists that draw these things, oh, many of the things are like she made her hugely muscular and um, she was she was a role model. That should stay there always. She was an American role model and the first real female superhero that we've ever had. And we could still use a few more, don't you think? Um, the overly muscular, more toward the masculine side, I don't think that's appropriate, but it's not my thing to say. And then when they changed the costume for the film was great. But when they changed the costume in the film, I thought, oh, that was a bummer. That was a bummer for me because, again, her costume was iconically American. That's okay. That's the way she was written. She was written by a brilliant man who happened to have a wife and a mistress the whole time. Or maybe it was just wifeless mistresses. I forget. He invented the lie detector, William Moulton Marston. And he made this character a conglomerate of what he felt was true womanhood: power, truth, love, justice. Where do you go from there? And that was our first superhero. So I feel proprietary about her. And when something comes up and they do something on the edge, that's the artistic right of everyone. But it doesn't have to be always changed so drastically. So that's my input.
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. You're right about that. Now you've been a part of, a lot of commercials. You be behind the scenes, but we definitely remember these commercials growing up. A lot of people. If you could just talk about some of the brands that you helped
Oh my
make
gosh.
pop.
I have done so many commercials. Some of them were on camera, obviously. For most of them, I've done some ads that were just voice, but mostly, excuse me, mostly on camera. Chocolate chip cookies, Nestle chocolate chip cookies. I was a spokeswoman because those were the days when spokeswomen were used much more than they are now. Now it's more scenes about a product. But then there was the voice of authority or the mother or the whatever. I was the voice of Wachovia Bank for 5 years. I was the voice of Western Airlines, summer commercials for probably as long. Um, I was in 4 or 5 years as the woman in the Lincoln Town Car. Very successful work doing oil of Olay. Um, and the beat goes on. I mean, I started with Carling's Black Label beer. Nobody even remembers Carling's Black Label beer.
Yeah, yeah, those are some amazing brands. You didn't mention Betty Crocker as well. I
Oh,
seen that on the list.
Betty Crocker, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's endless. I mean, I have an endless resume. It's fun to look back sometimes and say, "Gee, I really did a lot of work."
It's really inspiring. Thank you so much. Now, do you have a favorite, or you love them all the same?
It's a very, for me anyway, I was never a regular on a series. Um, which of course would be a delight because you really get to know people and work off them all the time. So it was an in and out business. Even if I was working for a week or two, that's still in and out. So to have a favorite, I've never had what I consider a really challenging role. That would be nice. But um, work was what I was after, not stardom. Work is what I got. So I guess I set the bar where I set it, and I'm grateful to say I have a lot of work behind me.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now I can ask you this. Now, are you still working or are you retired?
Would you believe I'm still working? Would you believe?
I mean, if you passionate, you can keep going. You know.
Well, if they're looking for somebody like me and they don't mind having a senior citizen, which would be nice. There aren't that many roles for us. They're usually taken by a handful of people now, and that would be great. But I did finish a Medicare Advantage commercial during our COVID period. I did a couple of superhero movies that are about gay superhero. That's why I did them. I thought, wow, what a great idea to include a gay superhero in a film. And this young man, a delightful young man who happens to be an attorney in San Diego, he made it his goal, his passion, and he has been at it now for some time. And I have appeared in 3 of his films, and it's fun to do them. Fun to think that I'm involved in the first gay superhero films, and I was the first Wonder Woman, so that's fun.
Definitely, definitely. That's inspiring. Now I could say this. What have you thought about writing a book about, the things that you have accomplished, or even doing a documentary, going into, I don't know if they have done it already, but a Wonder Woman documentary, that would be very interesting.
Well, I should have been in the film because I could have been one of the people in the land of the Amazon queens. Would have been fun because there's more than one person that has done Wonder Woman since I have, and that would have been fun. But that didn't happen. I've had a lot of people ask me when am I going to write a book. I don't think I'm going to write a book. It's just that simple. I don't have the desire. I don't mind writing, but I'm kind of I summarize everything. And as you see, I'm just so good with dates. How could I lose? But I have no plans to write a book.
Okay, okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for everything that you have done. It's been very inspiring, so you taking out the time to stop by and talk about those things, it really means a lot to me and the viewers as well.
It's my pleasure.
It's an honor. So until next time,
Sayonara.
all right,
Great hera.
take